I think we're good to start. I'm Raluca. I'm very pleased to be here and talk to you today about my personal and career story. I'm going to pour my heart out to you. I work as an analytics specialist for 3M for the West Europe region, so I'm in charge of data planning for 11 countries. I also work as a lecturer assistant at IT University of Copenhagen in a course called Navigating Complexity. So we have about 120 students, and I'm helping them out with understanding the theory and reading their essays and stuff like that. And I call myself a big data researcher because I'm writing my master thesis about big data, and I go around stalking people on LinkedIn and asking for their time to talk to me. And I'm quite proud. The other day I got the director from Denmark Statistic for an interview, so I just asked him 5 minutes later, he said yes. That was nice. I came to Denmark about 6 years ago, and this is what I've been doing. You know, I started my bachelor, and then I was successful. No, not really. So I started my bachelor at Kia. Do any of you know the program? Yeah, quite a few of you. How many of you, out of curiosity, are here for studying? Yeah, good luck. All right. The next thing after I've done my bachelor, at the end of my bachelor, I started my own company, and I had that for about 3 months. I learned a lot of skills, and then I've learned Danish as well. Well, not then. Meanwhile, I then got an internship due to my skills. I then got my first job. I got into my master's at ITU. I got a promotion. Then I got a second job, and here I am today. But yeah, you know, things are not quite like that, unfortunately. So it's more like this, I guess. When I first arrived to Denmark, I was finishing up my first bachelor. But I didn't have any transferable skills or any skills that I could actually go to a Danish company and say, hire me, I'm good. I knew how to code. I would send my CV and they would reply back to me saying, well, but you don't speak Danish. And I would be so frustrated and say, but I speak C++, give me a job. And they still wouldn't. So I got myself a cleaning job. And that gave me, you know, a stable income. I then was a house hunter as well. I couldn't afford to pay for a deposit up front, so I had to change places every 3rd month, and that was a hassle. You probably are familiar with trying to find a place. Yeah, you're nodding and smiling, but you're smiling still. I learned Danish as well, which was not as, you know, easy as I tried to picture in the first slide. It's a lot of effort, isn't it? You know?
Oh yes, big time.
Yeah, it's 7 hours a week, being at school, plus 7 hours in the weekends, trying to do your homework, while studying full time, and then having a job that is not the, you know, your dream job. And then I had to get a second job to be able to support myself, because back then I couldn't get it. So then people would tell me, you know, the key to success is to network. And I'll be like, when the heck can I network? You know, I leave my place at 6 a.m. and I'm back at 10. When would I network? So after I kind of finished my bachelor, at the end of my bachelor, I was confused because I had all these skills. I could make a website, I could do a little bit of graphic design, I could do a marketing plan, a communication plan. But that was too broad, you know, I was kind of jack of all trades. So it was really, really hard to market myself, to tell my story and to actually convey who I am to somebody else. I couldn't even answer that to myself. So what I've done, I went to this beautiful event organized by an organization called NemCV that would help foreigners write a, you know it? Yeah, write a compelling CV and a motivation letter. And I went there twice, and they would say something like, yeah, you after 2 sessions you'll be good to go. But the problem wasn't that I wasn't able to write. The problem was I had no idea what is it that I want to do, because I was desperately trying to get out of my cleaning job and get any job. But that was not the way. So what I did, it was finally summer, I had some time on my hands because I didn't need to go to school anymore. So I started volunteering and I started helping other people writing their CV. And it was nice because it just taught me how to help other people. It helped me help other people write a nice motivation letter. I was able to give a 5-minute crash course into writing the perfect motivation letter. I could write a perfect CV for somebody else. I still couldn't do it for myself. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna start a company. And I did that for about 3 months. I had few customers, but I was a failure because I was kind of lacking some leadership skills, and I was hassling customers and trying to get customers, still didn't have a clear vision. I was having a company that I was working with from my home country, from Romania, that didn't have the same vision as myself. Hello. So it wasn't easy. But I still have it on my CV, and it still looks good, and it still taught me a lot, even though it was a failure. And that helped me get my first internship, which I was kind of lucky compared to my other classmates because I had one of the only paid internships. Unfortunately, I didn't have a nice boss. And let alone that I tried to find my way, and I finally was able to kind of translate my skills. And then I go to work, and after a month or two, my manager started saying that my work is shit. And I was like, come on. I thought it's me for a while until one of my other colleagues was insulted as well. And I went back to my professor, to my teacher, and I said, you know what, I have an internship, I barely got it, and this is what's going on. And he told me, you can't believe what you're being told at your internship, because you're actually a 12th grade student, so don't believe that. And they got in touch with the manager, and everything is fine. 3 years later, he writes to me that I was a useful or valuable resource, and customers still talk about me because they were happy with the work I was doing. But again, you've learned your lessons, and I got a lot of skills. And then one day, I got my first job at 3M, where I'm currently working. And I got this job by accident. I was trying to again help one of my best friends, who's Adriana's friend, Eliza. And I was showing her how to write her CV, and I was like, I'm gonna show you how to get a job. I mean, I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't have a job. But still, I could help other people, right? I had that skill. So I find this ad, which was written in Danish. I was about to finish my 5th module, so my Danish was rusty, but I just needed a chance. That's what I needed. And I had all the skills written on the job ad. And I just picked up the phone and I called and I said, listen, I have this skill and this skill and this skill. And I have also the extra skills that you're looking for. My only flaw is that I'm not quite fluent in Danish. I'm on my way there, but I need a chance and I need a place to learn it. So she said, you know what, send your CV directly to me. Don't send it to the human resource. And I did that. I went for my first interview. She spoke Danish to me in the elevator just to try it out. On the second interview, she got her manager to interview me as well. He spoke Norwegian to me. And I told him in Danish that, Norwegian sounds a bit more musical than Danish, but I couldn't understand anything. Fortunately, he could relate to me because he himself tried to learn the language while he was in Germany. So that was really nice. And the person that answered the phone was actually one of 2 foreigners in an office in Denmark of 130 people. So we still have lunch together. And she became my mentor. And this is one of the most valuable lessons I've learned. Get a mentor. You cannot get smarter than you are in a heartbeat. Get someone who is at the peak and can see for you. Get someone who can translate your skills into a business value, because you're blinded. And she kicked my ass. She pushed me into presentations with her managers, and the manager. And my stomach hurt every time, but I still did it because she believed in me and she pushed me. She's not here today. She's one of my very good friends. But that's how I started trusting, and that's how I started pushing and getting somewhere. So at that point, I also got into ITU, which was actually my dream education to begin with, and I was extremely happy. I had a perfect place to live. I had a stable life. I had a stable income. I had a stable job. And that was back in 2014. And unfortunately, after that, I find out in a day of November that I am sick. When finally things were going fine, I found out I had cancer. And I battled that for about 9 months. And I think it was a gift, because I had to ask myself every day when I would wake up, do I want to go to work today? Do I want to go to school today? Do I want to meet this person today? Is this what I'm doing today with my life, what I want to do with my life, considering the situation? And luckily, it was. It was every day. I would go to school and I would feel nauseous, and I would, it wasn't good. And I loved it. I completely loved it. And I got so many friends, and I got such a big network, and I got so much support. And the most valuable thing I've learned is that asking for help is a sign of strength. And that's why your network is so important. Because your network is your resource. And when you can't do something yourself, you can rely on somebody else to do it for you or to help you. But you just need to ask. So I kind of closed the circle there, right? Because I've helped a lot of people to find their way myself. And then a lot of people helped me find my way as well. And then, I'm here today. I got a promotion, as I said, and a second job, and I'm researching, and I'm happy. And my key takeaways for you are, first of all, when you can't find your way, help other people. You're going to be confused. You're going to have no idea what to do with yourself, with your life, who you are, where you're going. And don't spend your time feeling sad and sorry for yourself. Move on and help others. Because by helping others, you'll get creative for your life as well, and that applies in your career tremendously. The next thing is that asking for help is a sign of strength. Find a mentor. And by finding a mentor, I don't mean walking up to someone and asking, do you want to be my mentor? Because that's not the way. So a genuine mentor relation just emerges from interacting with a person and walking up to that successful person you normally wouldn't have the guts to ask for help, and actually asking. You'll be surprised. And in my experience, the most experienced, the most successful people are the ones that are going to say yes. The next thing is, don't settle for less than your goal. I came here in 2010, and I've seen a lot of people losing themselves on the way. They came here for the same education, but maybe they got a nice job as a waiter somewhere, and they got a nice salary, and they settled. They gave up on their school and their education because, the going got tough. So they prefer the money. But if you have a goal and you really believe in it, go for it. Unless you change your mind, of course, and you think, well, this is what I was actually, going for, not this. Then, go ahead, but don't settle because you think you might not get there. And another thing is, stay healthy, of course. Coming from me, this is a good advice. Stay healthy and find your limits. You can only push yourself this much, and you have to respect yourself and your limits every day. Otherwise, you're going to burn out, you're going to get sick, you're going to be unhappy. So I guess that was all from me. Do you have any questions?
just when you formed the company with the Danish, because I had a little similar situation. Do you speak Danish or English to them?
I start with, is it okay if I speak English to you?
Yeah, but in
Danish, but I'm not going to say it now.
Yeah. And did you just call them before you even sent an application or anything?
Yeah, I called them, and while I was on the phone, I was like, can you give me your email address? I was ready with my application, you know, I knew what I was doing. Yeah. Yeah?
I was also curious about why did you you spoke about starting your own company as a failure?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I was lacking the skills to be a leader at that point. So I I started a collaboration with a developer team in Romania. And we have completely different visions when it comes to design, for example. But I knew the market better. They didn't understand what I was talking about, so they didn't want to hire a designer. They thought making a website is, it's enough to have few developers, but no designer. So I didn't believe in what they believed. And that was I said it was a failure, meaning that I've learned a lot from it, but we didn't have success. Yeah. Nobody's asking anything. All right.
Okay, then I have another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said about this with that you have seen a lot of people who are stopping and not going for their goal or what their dream about why they're coming here. Have you asked them why they gave up?
I think
You
I
said
had
about the money, but
yeah.
there can be other things.
Absolutely. And there is always, you can always find a reason for why you should stop. Always.
No, but I said about why they stop, because we also have a lot of Danish people who are going to school, and then they get a job, and then, I make money now.
Yeah.
And then they quit school.
Yeah.
And then they never come back.
Well, I couldn't speak for everyone, right? But I knew a few examples, even Danes who say, why should I bother studying more? Because now I have money. And if I have money and I have a full-time job, it's very hard to go lower in life standards to study, because you do need to make some compromises to get there. It's just an assumption. I couldn't speak for everyone.
No, it was more about are people getting attracted, because I have a lot of foreign friends, and the income is high compared
to where they come
but
from.
the cost can also be, it's also higher. So it's more like, if you see the money, I have money now.
Yeah. Yes, Casper?
I have an example of a person who started on a PhD but didn't complete it because she got a job.
Yeah.
And then years later she found that she couldn't get a new job because she didn't complete the PhD.
It's a vicious circle, isn't it?
So yes, it's a vicious circle, but it's also something about the devaluation of diplomas, right?
Yeah.
That now you need a higher and higher diploma to get the same kind of jobs because there is a pressure. It's a question of how many people are looking for the job. Well, we can have a PhD, why should we stay with a master's? The companies are also pushing that devaluation of both of all parameters, I think.
Yes. I wouldn't go in that direction of discourse, because that implies that getting more education gets you more qualified. And I would say getting more skills gets you more qualified.
That's it, but it's not always that the companies are aware or have it. I mean, they would have a diploma.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the case much in Denmark. I have the impression it's important in Denmark to have the diploma. And skills versus diploma is a discussion.
Where I work, you wouldn't get a job without a master's. Yeah.
But I also know, I come from Germany, and I know in Germany the diploma and the grades are even more worse than here. And I noticed that here it's already a little bit lower than what you did in your diploma, and they really like your background and how you are. But it's so hard to get an interview. It's like whenever you get an interview, I think it's quite good. You can easily convince people about who you are because you have super strengths. But in Germany, sometimes you even have to have an A grade to get a really basic job. And it's crazy. That's one decision why I stay in Denmark right now, because in Germany I see no chance right now for me. So.
You have an A minus?
No, actually I have a B.
Oh.
I can say
Yeah.
a little bit about this. It's because now it's getting very competitive. And
Yeah.
then for one job position, they get like 300, 400 applications. And they all go through the machine system, you know, because there are like keywords to filter. Where your school are, what are your grades, what your master, bachelor, whatever. No human actually see them before they go through this system. That's why it's like so difficult, and you need to have those criteria because they just don't care. You don't pass it, then you don't pass it.
Yeah.
That's why it's right, as everybody still knows that, to have your contacts on LinkedIn. And I just tried it with British American Tobacco, and they have this kind of system, and you don't get through. Like they tell me, oh yeah, you're one step further, you're one step further, and then like 1.5 months, yes, sorry, we can't see on you, and then you know it's okay. You have to have a person, a contact person, and you know where to find them. It's like, it's crazy. But at some point you're all going to be successful.
Yeah.
Yes, you have the advantage of being an EU, part of the EU, right? So of course, by looking at jobs, so there's not to say, let's say easy, but it's somewhat, it takes advantage of your career. But what would you recommend of those people here are out of the EU? Because there are a lot of legal issues has to be faced when they look for a job. So what would you recommend them?
I think it's hard for me to speak for that. I am not aware of
But
this.
it's 80,
But what I would say is also what Ani or Sabika mentioned, that be clear about your expectations on the other side in your communication, generally speaking. So if they need to take some legal actions, if they need to submit some papers on your behalf, if you need something that is different than the average person that is applying, then make that explicit in your application. But I can speak, yeah?
I agree with you as a non-EU. From my experience, you just need to show the HR, the hiring people, the hiring managers, that you're aware of the legal requirements and the law, and if you show them that, okay, they just need to take you and you will take care of the rest, it will be ideal. And if you tell them from the beginning that you don't need to, either you have a work permit or you just, it's on you, they won't care about it.
That's one of my point here, because I came with an EU rule. So for me, this is a fine and easy process. Coming here, get a residence, it took me like what, maybe about 3 weeks. I got my residence, but a lot of people from the third world country, I would say developed countries, that they have a lot of challenges ahead that they don't even know. So again, you're right, looking at the perspective of legal issues. Like now politically, when you say migration, they change a lot now. They're very sensitive with that. So as far as I know, that when you apply for residence new here, before it takes 5 years, but now it takes 8 years. So that's kind of thing you should know, you ought to know about it. Plus work at the same time, looking at jobs, it's quite difficult. So for me, living here for the last 4 years, I would suggest you to finish your language. That's one of your weapons to actually step into the culture, into the system, or integrate yourself. Because anywhere you go out of this country, when you apply for a job, they also require that dance fluent. So you have to speak fluently, you see. So that's the challenge you're facing. But don't lose hope, because there's a system here that once you're in, you're in.
In my experience, fluently in Danish means speak Danish as much as you can so that you don't interrupt the social interaction. I got my job on the premises that I will be speaking Danish all the time, but then I've been moved to the top, working with the Nordics and then with Western Europe. I don't speak Danish at my workplace except at the lunchtime. It's just, as it was said earlier, it's a sign of respect, I think. I don't know how we are with the time, Adriana.
Yeah, you can maybe 1 minute if there's any questions, of course.
Yeah, I saw some hands. Yeah.
I'm interested in mentor part. Like, how did you understand that this person can be your mentor, and how did it happen?
Yeah, so I think we, you know, the way it started was that she was my manager, and I would, you know, I would complete my task and then I would go back to her and say, hey, I have an idea about this and that. What do you think? And she got interested, and she asked me to pitch my ideas to some other people, and she's done that several times until I went to her and I said, you know, there is this mentorship program in our company. Do you want to be my mentor? But there was already a relation established, and she was not the only mentor I've had. I've had many other people mentoring me that, you know, you just go and ask for help, as I said. Mm-hmm. So I think I'll leave it to Adriana.
Yeah.
But thank you